Welcome to RR Lebanon channel. Nuhad Wadi Haddad, born November 20, 1934, known as Fairuz, also spelled Fairuz or Fairuz, is a Lebanese singer. She is considered by many as the leading vocalist and most famous singer in the Arab world. Fairuz is considered the musical icon of Lebanon, comparable to Edith Piaf in France, Elvis Presley in the United States and Lis Assia in Switzerland. Fairuz began her musical career as a teenager at the national radio station in Lebanon in the late 1940s as a chorus member. Her first major hit, ITAB, came in 1952, which made her an instant star in the Arab world. In the summer of 1957, Fairuz held her first live performance at the Baalbek International Festival, where she was awarded with the honor of Cavalier, the highest medal for artistic achievement by Lebanese President Camille Chamoun. Fairuz's fame spread throughout the Arab world in the 1950s and 1960s, and she would perform outside of Lebanon in various Arab capitals: Damascus, Amman, Cairo, Rabat, Algiers, and Tunis. She has received multiple recognitions and awards throughout her career, including a Lebanese memorial stamp issued in 1969, the Key to the Holy City awarded by the Jerusalem Cultural Committee, the Jordanian Medal of Honor presented by King Hussein of Jordan, the Commandeur des Arts et des Lettres Order of Arts and Letters, awarded by French President François Mitterrand in 1988, the highest artistic distinction, awarded by Tunisian President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, the Chevalier de la Légion d'Honneur, National Order of the Legion of Honor, awarded by French President Jacques Chirac, an honorary doctorate from the American University of Beirut in 2005. Throughout the years, she headlined at the most important venues in the world, such as Albert Hall and Royal Festival Hall in London, Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center and United Nations General Assembly Lobby in New York, the Olympia and Salle Pleyel in Paris, the Odeon of Herodes Atticus in Athens and the Royal Theatre Carré in Amsterdam. In a career spanning over 6 decades, Fairuz has recorded nearly 1,500 songs, released more than 80 albums, 20 musicals and sold over 150 million records worldwide, making her the highest-selling Middle Eastern artist of all time and one of the best-selling music artists in the world. Early life. Nuhad Haddad was born on November 20, 1934 in Lebanon into a Syriac and Maronite Christian family. Her father was born in Mardin, Turkey. The family later moved into a home in a cobblestone alley called Zakak El Blat in Beirut. Living in a single room of a typical Lebanese stone house facing Beirut's Eastern Orthodox Patriarchate School, they shared a kitchen with the neighbors. Her father Wad was a Lebanese of the Syriac Orthodox faith, and worked as a typesetter in a print shop. By the age of 10, Nuhad was already known at school for her unusual singing voice. She would sing regularly during school shows and on holidays. This was how she came to the attention of Mohammed Flaifel, a well-known musician and a teacher at the Lebanese Conservatory, who happened to attend one of the school's shows in February 1950. Impressed by her voice and performance, he advised her to enroll in the conservatory, which she did. At first, Nuhad's conservative father was reluctant to send her to the conservatory, however, he eventually allowed her to go on condition that her brother accompany her. Overall, Nuhad's family as a whole encouraged her in her musical career. During their marriage in the Eastern Orthodox Annunciation Church, Fairuz and Assi Rabbani surrounded by members of their families, 1955. Mohammed Flaifel took a close interest in Nuhad's talent. Among other things, he taught her to recite verses from the Quran in the recitative style known as tajweed. On one occasion, Nuhad was heard singing by Halim El Rumi, head of the Lebanese radio station and a prominent musician in his own right, also the father of the famous Lebanese singer Majida Rumi. Rumi was impressed by her voice and noticed that it had a rare flexibility that allowed her to sing both Arabic and Western modes admirably. At Nuhad's request, El Rumi appointed her as a chorus singer at the radio station in Beirut and went on to compose several songs for her. He chose for her the stage name Fairuz, which is the Arabic word for turquoise. A short while later, Fairuz was introduced to the Rabbani brothers, Assi and Mansour, who also worked at the radio station as musicians, and they discovered her talent. The chemistry was instant, and soon after, Assi started to compose songs for Fairuz, one of which was Itab, the third song he composed for her, which was an immediate smash hit in all of the Arab world, establishing Fairuz as one of the most prominent Arab singers on the Arabic music scene. Assi and Fairuz were married on January 23, 1955. The church in Akrafi, Beirut, where Fairuz married. Fairuz and Assi had 4 children. Ziad, a musician and a composer, Lael, died in 1987 of a brain stroke, Hali, paralyzed since early childhood after meningitis, and Rima, a photographer and film director. Fairuz's first large-scale concert was in 1957, as part of the Baalbek International Festival, which took place under the patronage of the Lebanese president Camille Chamoun. She performed alongside the British prima ballerina Beryl Goldwyn and the ballet Rambit. Fairuz was paid £1 Lebanese for that show. Musical operettas and concerts followed for many years, eventually establishing Fairuz as one of the most popular singers in Lebanon and throughout the Arab world. Career. 1960s – establishment of a new star. As the 1960s wore on, Fairuz became known as the First Lady of Lebanese Singing, as Halim Rumi dubbed her. During this period the Rabbani brothers wrote and composed for her hundreds of famous songs, most of their operettas, and 3 motion pictures. In 1969, Fairuz's songs were banned from the radio stations in Lebanon for 6 months because she refused to sing at a private concert in honor of Algerian President Houari Boumediene. The incident only served to increase her popularity. Fairuz made it clear then and since that while always willing to sing to the public and to various countries and regions, she would never sing to any individual. 1970s – International fame and war in Lebanon. In 1971, Fairuz's fame became international after her major North American tour, which was received with much excitement by the Arab American and American community and yielded very positive reviews of the concerts. Fairuz in the 1970s. On September 22, 1972, Assi suffered a brain hemorrhage and was rushed to the hospital. Fans crowded outside the hospital praying for him and lighting candles. After 3 surgeries, Assi's brain hemorrhage was halted. Ziad Rabbani, the eldest son of Fairuz and Assi, at age 16, gave his mother the music of one of his unreleased songs, Akadu El Helween, that he had composed to be sung by Marwan Mahfouz in Sariyi, Ziad's first play, and his uncle Mansour Rabbani rewrote new lyrics for it to be called Saluni Nanas, The People Asked Me, which talked about Fairuz being on stage for the first time without Assi. 3 months after suffering the hemorrhage, Assi attended the premiere performance of that musical Al-Mahatta in Piccadilly Theatre on Hamra Street. Elias Rabbani, Assi's younger brother, took over the orchestration and musical arrangement for the performance. Fairuz made her first European TV appearance on French TV on May 24, 1975, in a Carpentier special show called Numero 1, dedicated to French star Mireille Mathieu. She sang one of her big hits, Habaytak Bissaif, and was thanked and embraced after performing it by Mireille Mathieu. Within a year, Assi had returned to composing and writing with his brother. They continued to produce musicals, which became increasingly political in nature. After the Lebanese civil war erupted, the brothers continued to use political satire and sharp criticism in their plays. In 1977, their musical Petra was shown in both the Muslim western and Christian eastern portions of Beirut. In 1978, the trio toured Europe and the Persian Gulf nations, including a concert at the Paris Olympia. As a result of this busy schedule, Assi's medical and mental health began to deteriorate. Fairuz and the brothers agreed to end their professional and personal relationship in 1979. Fairuz began to work with a production team helmed by her son, Ziad Rabbani, and Assi and Mansour composed for other artists such as Ronza. During the Lebanese Civil War 1975–1990, Fairuz never left Lebanon to live abroad, and did not hold any concerts there with the exception of the stage performance of the operetta Petra, which was performed in both the western and eastern parts of the then divided Beirut in 1978. However, during that time period, Fairuz held many very successful and record-breaking concerts and tours in numerous countries around the world. 1980s, a new production team. After the artistic divorce between Fairuz and the Rabbani brothers in 1979, Fairuz carried on with her son, composer Ziad Rabbani, his friend the lyricist Joseph Harb, and composer Philemon Webe. Fairuz made a second and final European television appearance on French TV on October 13, 1988 in a show called Du Côté de chez Fred. Fairuz, who had scheduled a concert at the POPB of Paris Bercy Concert Hall 3 days later on October 16, was the main guest of French TV presenter Frédéric Mitterrand. The program features footage of her rehearsals for her concert at Bercy in addition to the ceremony featuring then French Minister of Culture Jacques Lang awarding Fairuz the Medal of Commandeur des Arts et des Lettres. It also includes a video montage of her previous movies and concerts. In that show, Fairuz also sang the 3 songs, Ya Auri, Yara and Zali Torwal. Her first CD, The Very Best of Fairuz, was published in 1987 and contained the emblematic song, Artini Alne Wa Ghani, Give Me the Flute and Sing, based on a poem in The Procession by Khalil Gibran. It was first sung at the end of the 60s. 1990s present. In the 1990s, Fairuz produced 6 albums, 2 Philemon Webe tributes with unreleased tracks included, a Zaki Nassif album, 3 Ziad Rabbani albums, and a tribute album to Assi Rabbani orchestrated by Ziad, and held a number of large-scale concerts, most notably the historic concert held at Beirut's Martyrs Square in September 1994 to launch the rebirth of the downtown district that was ravaged by the civil war. She appeared at the Baalbek International Festival in 1998 after 25 years of self-imposed absence, where she performed the highlights of 3 very successful plays that were presented in the 1960s and 1970s. In 1992, Madonna used some parts of Fairuz's songs in her album without permission. The singers settled the matter outside of court, but Madonna's album and single were prohibited in Lebanon. She also performed a concert in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Arena in 1999, which was attended by over 16,000 spectators, mostly Arabs. Ever since, Fairuz has held sold-out concerts at the Baitadine International Festival, Lebanon, from 2000 to 2003, Kuwait 2001, Paris 2002, the United States 2003, Amman 2004, Montreal 2005, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Baalbek, Beale 2006, Athens, Amman 2007, Damascus, and Bahrain 2008. Her first album in the new millennium, Walla Keef, was released in 2002. On January 28, 2008, Fairuz performed at the Damascus Opera House in an emotional return to the Syrian capital, where she played the lead role in the musical Sa El Nom, Good Morning, after more than 2 decades of absence from the country, in one of a series of events highlighting UNESCO's designation of Damascus as the capital of Arab culture that year. Commenting on the event, the BBC wrote, "Every day the sun rises over Syria you hear one voice across the country, Fairuz, the legendary Lebanese singer and greatest living Arab diva." Syrian historian, Sami Mobaid, said that the Syrians were thrilled about the performance and that Fairuz reminded them of the good old days. People from all ages attended the concert and the auditorium was packed with listeners. Fairuz said that she had never seen such an audience in her life. However, her decision to perform there drew criticism from Lebanese politicians who considered Syria to be a hostile nation. Fairuz's new album entitled A Fire Mal was released on October 7, 2010, produced by Fairuz Productions and written entirely by her son Ziad Rabbani. 2 concerts took place at Beale Center in Beirut, Lebanon, on October 7 and 8. Later a concert in Bahrain was cancelled in March 2011. She performed in the Netherlands for the first time in Amsterdam on June 26, 2011. Fairuz's last appearance on stage was in Platea, Juni, Hera Saka in December 2011, where she had 6 concerts extending from December 9 to 23. Fairuz released her first album in 7 years titled Bebeli on September 22, 2017. On June 21, 2017, her daughter Rima Rabani released the first single from the album, Lamin. The song is a tribute for Fairuz's late husband Assi Rabani and was released in commemoration of his anniversary. Laymin is inspired by the French song Pour qui veille l'étoile and was adapted into Arabic by Rima Rabani. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.